Hello and welcome. My name is Daphne Adler and I'm one of the counselors here at Los Altos High School. And I'm really happy to present our Study in Ireland session, which is part of International University Month, which was in October. And due to homecoming and crazy bell schedules, we had to reschedule this session. So here we are in early November. And I'm really excited that we have this session because Ireland is one of my absolute favorite places to visit. And it's an amazing place to go to college. So really encourage students to consider having Ireland on your list. And I'm going to introduce to you in a moment our wonderful panel of speakers, and each of them represents a university in Ireland that you might think about. So you're going to learn some about studying in Ireland in general, cost, some of the really fun things about Ireland culturally, and then a bit about each university. This presentation is being recorded and will be available on the College Career Center YouTube channel shortly. And we have a whole month of recordings. So if this is your first time checking this out and you're like, oh, wow, I didn't even know I could study internationally, I need to know more. We have a whole bunch of sessions. We had some intro sessions in the beginning of October. We had sessions about about student life and all kinds of different things. And so you can go back and watch those recordings. They're all going to be available for you in addition to this session. So I'm going to now introduce the panel and turn it over to them. So we've got today Maggie Cardozi from University College Cork, Chelsea Weaver from University College Dublin, Niamh Kavanagh from University of Limerick, Patty Hayden from Maynooth University, and Alison Ryan from Mary Immaculate College. And I was super duper lucky to visit every one of these universities a few years ago on a counselor tour in Ireland. And it was really kind of magical. So definitely encourage students to check it out. And I can easily put you in touch with any of these reps after this presentation as well, if you'd like to know more. So I'm now going to turn it over to Maggie, and she's going to talk to you about Ireland.
Cool. Thank you, Daphne. Let me just move the presentation forward. I hope. There we go. Cool. So again, my name is Maggie and I represent University College Cork, which I'll tell you about in a little bit. As you might be able to tell, I am an American. I am based in New York City and I look after all the students who are based in the United States. So happy to help anybody who has questions. And I always say that I enjoyed studying in Ireland so much that I did it twice. So it's really great to be here talking to you guys about a place that I consider my second home, and I hope you consider your second home someday too. So a little bit about what we're going to cover, and Daphne mentioned this just a minute ago, but each of us are going to kind of trade off, and we're going to talk to you a little bit about why you might think about studying in Ireland, and then go over the degree structure in Irish universities, the general application process, finances, as well as fun stuff like campus life and student supports. And then we'll talk a little bit about life after graduation and the careers and career supports that each of our universities have in store. And after we go through that basic information, each of us is going to take a couple of minutes to talk a little bit about why we think each of our institutions are special and why you might consider studying there. So to kick it off, a little bit of general information about why you might consider studying in Ireland. So Ireland enjoys a reputation for being a very safe, friendly, and welcoming place. And as you can see by the picture here, it is a very beautiful place to study as well. So we have a huge range of different places to go and things to see, everything from gorgeous landscapes to hill walking to beautiful beaches, and then really cool multicultural cities. Ireland is a globally connected multicultural society as well, so very interconnected to the rest of Europe and the rest of the world. And you'll find that most of our cities, and I would say all of the campuses that we represent here, also enjoy a really international flavor. Ireland is the only English-speaking member of the EU currently, and that brings in a lot of international business and a lot of visitors. So if you're looking for a place that's English-speaking, but also part of Europe, Ireland is going to be a really great choice. And then each of our universities are internationally recognized and ranked in the top 1 to 2% worldwide. So your degree is going to mean something wherever you decide to take it in the world. And there are a lot of really great diverse options within Ireland. So everything from kind of large suburban universities to small sort of college town universities, from a more modern feel to an ancient feel, and everything in between. So Ireland really has everything to offer. And I hope as you're starting to look at universities who maybe check some of those boxes that might be in the United States, that you're going to look at some of our universities as well. So that's just a general little bit of information about Ireland. And now I'm going to pass it over to, I believe, Chelsea, who's going to talk to you about our degree structures and the different kinds of programs that we offer.
Yeah, thanks so much, Maggie. Hi, everyone. My name is Chelsea Weaver, and I am the North America Western Regional Representative for University College Dublin, and I am currently based in San Diego. So you will have somebody on your time zone if you're interested in UCD. But for now, I'm going to talk a little bit about undergraduate degrees in general across the Irish institutions and universities. Starting with the academic year structure. So it's not too different from what you're used to in the US. Each institution does vary slightly, but generally students start classes in early to mid-September. This year was late September just due to COVID, pushed it back a little bit. And then that fall autumn semester will go until around like December 20th, 22nd. Students will have anywhere from 3 to 4 weeks off for Christmas, and many students would choose to go home. And then the spring semester will start in usually mid to end of January. And then you'll have 2 weeks of exams until around the 20th of May. And you'll always, at least I believe you'll always have 1 week of revision before exams. So it's a whole week where you don't have classes and you get that time to study for your exams. And then generally, there are exceptions, but generally there are no summer classes or no summer term for undergraduate students in Ireland. Our courses across our institutions are 3 or 4 years in length. It very much depends on what you're interested in studying. And Irish institutions are particularly strong in their arts, humanities, politics, business, and all STEM course offerings. Most of our programs are direct entry, which means you dive right into your major or the subject you're interested in studying. And there's no general education classes or requirements in any of our institutions, which is really nice. And for those of you who are undecided, I'll talk about it a little bit later, but there are options for you in Ireland. And again, UCD has an offering, and I'll talk about that later, but the majority of courses are direct entry. We have really flexible course options generally. All majors, which we refer to majors as courses or programs. So if you're looking on our institution's websites and you can't find the word major, that is why. And all courses or programs in Ireland are honors. So don't be freaked out when you see honors constantly being referred to. All courses are honors. You can study single honors degree, and which means essentially you focus on one particular subject. Or we have joint honors programs as well, which means you can kind of have like a major minor or a double major. And this is very much restricted to school or discipline. So for example, you cannot double major in something like English and science because those wouldn't be related at all. So it's just a little bit different from the US. Alrighty, I think I'm passing it over to Niamh.
Hey everyone, a big welcome from Ireland. So I'm Niamh Kavanagh from the University of Limerick. I'm based here in Limerick, so unlike my other colleagues, those guys are across the pond. I'm over the other side of the shore on the west coast of Ireland. So I'm going to talk to you about how to apply and about financing when coming to the universities and over to Ireland. And then a little bit later on, I'll talk a little bit more about the University of Limerick. So how to apply. First of all, what you need is your supporting documents. So your high school transcripts, your GPA, test scoring. Now, for a lot of us, we've moved from standardized testing to what we refer to as test flexible instead of test optional. And the reason for that is that some of our undergraduate programs will still require SATs while others won't. Okay, and that's based off entry requirements for Irish students. So that's a big thing. So some of our programs we just unfortunately cannot go test optional on because of the standards we expect Irish students to meet. We have to keep that the same for international students coming in. So just be wary when you're applying to the programs, reach out to the different representatives from the universities and check which one's test flexible versus which one is not and requires SATs or ACTs. But majority of our arts programs and different things like that, and my other colleagues can correct me if I'm wrong later on in the presentation, have gone test flexible, while a lot of the science and engineering programs are still test required. But once again, case by case basis, so do check it out. Applying to specific disciplines and programs may require some extra elements outside of your normal documents that we would require. So for example, if you're applying to a performing arts program, I know at the University of Limerick we have a really good Irish dance and traditional music program similar to what they have in Cork and in Maynooth. They would all require auditions. While if you're going into architecture or product design, kind of similar to stuff that we have in UCD and ourselves, you would be looking at, and the rest of the universities for some product design programs, we'd be looking at portfolios, and for certain art programs and different things like that. So just make sure that you know the requirements for those type of specific programs. And in some of the health sciences, you'd be actually surprised there might be some specific elements required as well, like paramedic studies. You might actually have to have a specialized driver's license to be able to requirement for driving the ambulance. So those are little things that you need to watch out for when applying. Ways to apply. So we have two different types of systems. Normally you apply either directly to the university, or there is a number of us that are on the Common App. So the University of Limerick's on the Common App, UCD is on the Common App, Mary I are on the Common App, and correct me if I'm wrong, Paddy, is it Maynooth? Yep, Paddy's waving or nodding there and thumbs up. So the four of us are on the Common App, and I think Maggie's working on it, but I'm not sure where it's at yet. And then the rest of the universities in Ireland you'd have to apply directly to. Now, the big thing next up is how are you going to fund your time here with us? So this can be a bit of a shock to some of you guys when you look at the costs compared to what you're used to paying to schools back home, whether it's state school or out of state schools. In Ireland, we're actually very, very affordable. So we're owned by the Irish government, so therefore tuition fees are not massively expensive compared to what you might be used to seeing for what you would think of an out-of-state school. We're funded by the Irish government, so therefore we don't rely solely on tuition fees to run the university, which is why you don't see that big price tag of 60 or 70,000 US dollars. On average, students will approximately spend anywhere from 30 to 38,000. You'll see in the presentation, we've gone with the 38 on the presentation just to give you the worst case scenario. But that's everything. That's your tuition fees. That's your accommodation, your flights, your food, what I like to call your miscellaneous spending fund, whether it's a night to the cinema or down to the Ring of Kerry or over to Paris, or maybe just a night out and having a few points with your friends, which is allowed in Ireland if you're over 18. Sorry, Miss Adler, just giving them a small bit of a heads up of what might happen when they're here in Ireland. Then on top of that, you have the opportunity of getting tuition fee scholarships, so that will reduce the cost as well. And then another big thing is that you can get your Fafsa loans with us. So the Title IV Stafford loans, unfortunately, the Pell Grant, that is you guys might be used to with Fafsa, does not apply outside of the United States to international schools. So when you hear an international school referred to Fafsa, they are talking about the loans. So financial aid loans you can apply for. So your sub, your unsub, your parent plus, or independent is the big thing. And then just looking at the samples of comparing that to out-of-state schools, like the University of Oregon, Washington, and Michigan, all Irish universities are so much more affordable. You're getting a 4-year degree, less student debt, internationally recognized, and can travel anywhere in the world. And the best thing about it is you also get to study it while you're here in Ireland and have a bit of fun along the way. So I'm going to pass you over to my colleague, Alison, who's going to talk a little bit more about the fun side of life while you're here in Ireland.
Thanks, Niamh. Hi, everybody. So I'm Alison. Just like Niamh, I'm also in the city of Limerick in Ireland. So our campus is in the city centre, and I'll be talking to you a little bit more about that. Right now, I'm here to talk to you about campus life in general as an international student in Ireland. And that is part of studying in another country, is the actual experience that you get. It's not just about the academic side of it, which of course is very important, but there is another dimension as well. So in Ireland, we would have a very strong sports club and student society campuses. What you're looking at is really in first year, we really get a lot of students to sign up to clubs or societies. A club can be set up on anything that you have an interest in. We'll have drama and art societies. You might even want to set up a Harry Potter society. And then on the other side, you'll of course have your sports. Now, Ireland, we have our own national sport, which we love international students to try out. But if that's not your thing, we have international sports as well. There'll be basketball, rugby. I'm sure you'll find American football even on some of the campuses. So it really is, you just have to really look at the campuses, what they offer, and I'm sure you can find something that will actually suit you. The Students' Union then, it's very important as well. They will kind of oversee the clubs and societies. So they are part of the fun side of it, but they also have quite a serious side in that they are there for the students. The Students' Union will always have, you'll have a class rep in all of your classes that's elected by the students, but that actually works for the Students' Union. So any gripes you have, even with your lecturer, the Students' Union will actually have your back and help you. So you do always have that support. Something as well that's very important for students is the opportunity to travel with study abroad. If you're an American student, sure, you're already studying abroad, but that doesn't mean you have to stop there. You could spend a year or a semester at any of our partner universities, and we all have them throughout Europe, Scandinavia, Asia, Latin, South America. Really anywhere is your oyster if you choose. And then in terms of the supports on campus, you will have everything the Irish students have. So that's your tutors, your disability service, your careers office. But additionally, you will have the international office in each of those campuses. And I'm speaking for all of my colleagues here when I say that this is our job to look after international students. So that is what we do, and our doors are always open to be that extra support for the students. You'll also, of course, have your personal supports with the peer-to-peer counselling services, health services, and a chaplaincy as well. So it's a big thing taking a leap to study in another country, but we make sure we have all of those supports for you on our campuses. Oh, I'm sorry. I should announce it. It's Patty next.
No problem. Thanks a million. Hi, everybody. So my name is Patty, and I represent and coordinate the incoming students from North America. I am not Irish, but I am based in Ireland. I've been here for almost 22 years. And I know with you guys, you get to Ireland and you don't want to leave, or like Maggie, you get to Ireland, then you want to come back again. So we have a lot of cool things. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what happens after graduation. So each of the campuses that are represented here tonight have a career services department. They're well equipped to help find students internships and placements and jobs, either internationally, either in Ireland or even back in the States after graduation. Degrees in Ireland completely transfer back to the US with the exception of teaching and nursing. So just to make you aware of that. And with that, employers will see degrees from Ireland as equal for those from the US. So there's no need to worry about, are they accredited in the US? They certainly are. You may not know that Dublin is a huge hub and headquarters for a lot of the multinational companies such as Google and Apple and Facebook, eBay, etc. And Ireland is also home to the top 10 global pharmacy companies. So there's also internet companies in Europe and in Ireland as well. And we're home to over 200 overseas engineering companies, and we have a large presence in the tech, agricultural, and financial services divisions as well. And a really cool thing that I think a lot of students don't realize is that you can stay in Ireland and work after you graduate. So there's a 2-year stay back visa, they call it, so that you can apply for that once you have finished your degree with us at one of our universities. So that's just a few things to cover really quick about what comes next after graduation. And then I will pass it on. So I don't remember who's next though. Oh, UCC, back to Maggie.
It's me. Yep, we're just doing a round robin. So hi again, everybody. I'm Maggie from University College Cork here. So we're each going to talk a little bit about our universities. We hope that that overview we gave was really helpful and you're eager to learn a little bit more. So a little bit about UCC. UCC is located in Cork, which is Ireland's second largest city, and it's located along the southern coast of the country. It's a great student city. So while it's a relatively small city by American standards with around 200,000 people altogether, you will not be bored and you will definitely not be hungry. Cork is known for a hub for arts and entertainment and also a very foodie town as well. So lots to do. And UCC's campus is located just a quick 15-minute walk from the heart of the Cork City Center. So you get a nice kind of proper campus experience, but also this sort of European cosmopolitan city experience as well. Our campus dates from 1845. So you can see there one of our iconic buildings. So you get that old world European feel, but you also get kind of the experience of a modern university as well. We have over 100 different undergraduate programs spread across our 4 colleges. So everything from arts and humanities to sciences, engineering, even medicine, law, business, and many others. And these programs can be either 3 or 4 years. And most of our programs would include some element of practical learning. So whether that's an internship, a work placement, or a study abroad term to really expand your learning outside the classroom. At UCC, we're very proud of our commitment to sustainability as well. So we're the world's first green campus, and we are currently 8th in the world for our sustainability practices. So if environmental friendliness and sustainability is something that's very important to you, you will definitely find a like-minded and supportive community at UCC. We're also a very international school. We have about 15% of our student population that comes from outside of Ireland. And when it comes to the application, we operate on a rolling basis. We open applications on December 1st, which I know is a little late by American standards, and it is a direct application for now, and we are test flexible for a majority of our programs for this year. So I'm going to leave it there and pass it on to Chelsea again to talk to you a little bit about studying at UCD.
Thank you, Maggie. Yeah, so just a little bit about Dublin, first of all. Dublin is so incredibly vibrant. It's really an amazing city for college students. Around half of the population of Dublin are under the age of 34. So I think that's part of what makes it so vibrant. It is the capital city of Ireland. And I know it was mentioned before, you know, we're such a tech hub, finance hub, etc. There's really everything you can possibly want in Dublin. It's amazing. And then on our campus, so UCD is a suburban campus, but we are located just 3 miles south of the Dublin city centre. We're really close to the Irish Sea, and you can see the Wicklow Mountains from our campus as well. So it's really beautiful. I know all our campuses are quite green. And then, yeah, kind of the program offerings that we have, you know, sciences, engineering, health sciences, arts, humanities, social sciences, business, law, sustainability, which is one of our newer programs, agriculture, food and nutrition, architecture, environmental policy. We have direct entry medicine and veterinary medicine programs as well. And I mentioned earlier how in Ireland, direct entry is most common. which it is, but UCD also has a liberal arts and sciences program, which I just want to take a minute to highlight because it's most similar to an undecided degree. It's kind of a semi-undecided degree where you're still not going to have general education requirements, but it's essentially just an alternative pathway into UCD, and it is one of our test flexible programs. You don't have to have the SAT or ACT to apply. Sorry. And you can't get into all of our courses through this pathway, but many of them are accessible through liberal arts and sciences. And it essentially will allow you your first year to take classes in whatever you are interested in. And you'll have Irish cultural classes and a lot to kind of get you settled and a specific advisor for that program. So there's a lot of support. So that is an option if you are interested in studying in Ireland, but you are undecided. We have over 70 undergraduate degree programs at the moment and over 270 programs between undergrad and postgrad. And then I think the only ranking I want to talk about personally, which I think is the most important for UCD, is that we were ranked #1 in Ireland for graduate employability for the last 5 years in a row. And something else that makes UCD stand out is we do have a very large international student population. We are known as Ireland's global university, and nearly 30% of our student population is international. So we have over 8,500 international students on campus at this time. And then the last thing is, we have over 130 extracurricular clubs and societies for you to join and be a part of and meet people from around the world. All right, that's enough about UCD. I think we're off to University of Limerick, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, back over the land and the Atlantic over to me here at the University of Limerick. So Limerick City, to start off with, it is the third largest city in Ireland, and it is one of my favorite places to live. I'm down here 13 years, and I have to admit it is a fantastic place to spend your time for your education and potential future careers if you do decide to come and study with us. My whole family, my brother, my sister, and I all came down to study in Limerick, and we're all still living and working here to this day. So that definitely gives a testament to how great of a city and place it is to live and work. And it is one of the most up and coming cities when it comes to employment opportunities in Ireland, with lots of investment coming in from big multinational companies. And I'll let Alison chat a little bit more about Limerick City as well, so I won't rob all the thunder on the city side of the house. So for the university, like my colleagues, we offer a wide range of different programs across arts, humanities, social sciences, business, law. We even have a graduate from Los Altos with us studying law this year. Gabriella started in first year, so we're super proud to have one of your alum with us. We also have science engineering, health science, education, performing arts, and environmental science, which is the hot topic right now with all the conferences happening and global warming and climate change conversations happening with all of our nations around the world, which is really, really good to see the reports on. For us at the university, it's about a community, and it's about making sure that you fit into that community and that you're going to be successful. We want to make sure that we look after you and that you're taken care of as best as possible. So that's a big thing for us. So I'll be here every step of the way, from applying right through to when you arrive, welcoming you in, and hopefully post-pandemic times, we'll actually be able to do, proper in-person pizza parties. And we're currently planning Thanksgiving for the students. Hopefully all indoors, all going well, because I don't think Thanksgiving in Ireland in the rain is something anybody wants to experience. But we should be all good there. Well, as you can see there, we have over 170 different undergraduate and postgraduate programs. One of the big rankings I want to talk about before I hand you on to, I think it's going to be Alison in a second, is the university is the only Irish university to have the 5-star QS ranking overall. We also have it in teaching and employability, and we have a 97% graduate employability rate. And the reason for that is because we've embedded internships in all of our undergraduate programs, and we call them co-op. And the reason why we call them co-op is because you go out on paid placements to companies for 6 to 8 months. Okay, so it's really, really important that you're getting really valuable hands-on experience. So Gabriella, our wonderful alum, our Los Altos, trendsetter coming to the university, is going to have the opportunity to go to one of the top law firms in Ireland or back in the United States if she wanted to, and study law and be part of the practice for 6 to 8 months during her undergraduate degree, which gives you phenomenal experience when you go out into the big bad world and knowing what your job opportunities are and what it's like in the real world. So that's something really, really important. The last bit of advice I'm going to give before I hand it over is, over the next couple of weeks and months, and any juniors watching this over the next year, you're going to, find out about loads of different universities and hear from many of us, especially with the way Miss Adler does the wonderful month of international schools. But what I would recommend is do your research, find the place that you're really excited about going to study in, the one that you can see yourself being in, whether that's a small liberal college, a medium-sized university like ourselves in Limerick, or a huge university like UCD, or one of our other UCD, Maynooth, any of them. Just do your homework and start applying. All right. Thank you, everybody. I look forward to maybe getting some questions at the end or following up with you later. So I hand it over, I think it's to Alison, since we're doing a round robin. Hopefully I'm right. Yes.
It's me. Thank you, Niamh. And also thanks for leaving a little bit for me to say about Limerick. I am actually Limerick born and bred. So maybe that's a good thing that I never left. But yes, I'm still here. What I can say about the city, it's a riverside city. It doesn't really matter where you are. The river is all around you. There's lots of activities that take place on the river. And during the summertime, there's something called River Fest, where everything happens around the river. We're also very much a student city, because you just heard from Niamh there in the University of Limerick. There's Mary Immaculate College, and there's also the Technological University of the Shannon. So there are 3 higher level institutions in Limerick City. And within the city itself, it's about 100,000 people, but about 30,000 of those are students. So it is a very youthful, vibrant city, and it definitely has the name of being student friendly as well. If you're talking about the college, then Mary Immaculate, slightly different from the other institutions in that we're more niche in our offerings. So we're very much focused on liberal arts and education. With our liberal arts program, it's very much a double major. So you can choose from such a diverse range of subjects, from media, languages, mathematics, philosophy. There's really a lot there. Then we'd have psychology. We would have second level education as an offering, theatre studies, and early childhood care and education. And of course, our postgraduate programs go up to diploma, master's, and PhD as well. So while we don't have the gauntlet of offerings, there's very much an offering there for international students, and we do get a lot of students through our doors. What I would say as well, we're very much a city centre college. So in terms of where we are, no matter, you can really walk anywhere, and you have all the offerings of the city centre at your fingertips as well. That goes for accommodation. It's very close to campus, also the city centre. So there's really a lot there for students. We were established back in 1898. So the picture you see there is actually the building, the very first building from the 1800s. But the whole college is not like that. It's very much a mix. We have modern architecture as well, going down the back of the campus. We have a good sports arena as well that won awards for its design. So there really is, it's a nice mix of architecture there. We have about 5,000 students on campus. So again, it's not a huge campus, about mid-size. And I'd say each year we get about 500 international students through our doors. And we collaborate with about 50 partner universities as well, and that's all over the world. So the students who study with us, like the other colleges, they can avail of international mobility themselves through study abroad or industry placement. But something additional that we have is the ability, if you're already studying abroad, you actually don't have to study in year 3 for some of the programs, because you're already studying abroad. You're considered to be completing that already. So depending on the program, you may actually be able to do first year, second year, and then go straight into fourth year, getting your 4-year degree in just 3 years. And what some of our international students are now doing is they're actually undertaking a master's in year 4. And we actually have 2 of our US students now who now got their degree and their master's in just 4 years with us. I feel we're running out of time and I don't want to take up any more, but if you want to talk to me, I'd be delighted to hear from you. We're on the Common App, so very happy to take your applications. And I shall leave you with Maynooth University next.
Thanks a million. So yeah, Maynooth University, just really quickly to give you an idea of where it's located. We're only about 15 miles outside of Dublin. We're in County Kildare. So we kind of do have the best of both worlds. Maynooth is a very small town, but it's a very university based town. So the university and the town are really kind of intertwined. Everything is in walking distance from the campus. But if you wanted to go into Dublin for the day and have a look around, you can jump on the train, which is 5 minutes from campus, or any of the bus services that are literally right outside the gates of campus. And you'll be in Dublin in 40 minutes or so. And again, if you want to go further afield to do some traveling, which almost all the students that come to us from abroad love to travel around Ireland because it is an amazing place. It's super easy to do that. So Maynooth is kind of a mid-sized university. We have about 14,000 students, and about 10% of those are international students. We were established back in 1795. So the photo that you can see on the slide is of St. Joseph's Hall. And that was the original part of campus. So again, like Mary Immaculate and some of the other campuses, we kind of have a really broad mix of the old and the new. So there we have the old part of campus, which you can see in the slide. And then on the North Campus is the newer buildings. And that's where, you know, the student union would be, and the cafeteria and the sports halls and things like that. So you kind of have the best of both kind of environments that you would want. Just a little bit on our program field. So again, we offer pretty much anything that you could think of. Again, arts, Celtic studies, social sciences, anthropology, and again, law and criminology. And then you can go into the sciences as well. Biomedical Sciences is a really popular program of ours, as well as our physics and astrophysics programs as well. So like the other universities, we are on the Common App, and it is, you can apply anytime. You can even apply up until July of the September that you'd like to start with us. And once you apply through the Common App, we have an international admissions team that can get back to you pretty quickly, usually within a couple of weeks. As Niamh mentioned, we are also test optional for a lot of our programs. So just to keep that in mind as well, if you're looking at the liberal arts, social sciences types of programs, we would be test optional, because we know that trying to get the ACT and SAT under your belt in the world that we are living in was just crazy stressful. So we have taken that on board. So that's just a little snapshot of Maynooth. Like I said, if you have any questions, happy to answer them. So back to you, Daphne. Thank you.
All right. Thank you all so much. That was like such a nice like revisiting of all the universities. It was, I always just love kind of seeing all the photos again, and just learning what programs are really popular right now. So thank you all for sharing all of that. I wish I could go visit again. So for students, hopefully you have found this really, really informative and fun and interesting. And I really encourage you to think about Ireland. There's some incredible opportunities. As all the panelists said, it's affordable. It's an amazing culture. There are a lot of direct entry programs, whereas in the US, you would do undergraduate and then have to apply separately to grad school. So a lot of really, really cool benefits. And if you took away nothing else from this presentation, I hope that you see the very personal nature of international admission. I've been saying that in every single session because it's genuinely true with every rep that I have come into contact with for University Month. There's really a face behind every one of these universities, as you can see here today, and they are here to help you. They really do want you and your parents to understand as much as you can, be as informed as you can, so that when you get off that plane in Ireland, you know who's going to meet you there, you know somewhat what to expect. You know, it's always going to be like a really cool big adventure, but you know some stuff to expect, and you know who to go to for help and support when you're there. It is so important because, like, they know you are going halfway across the world and they want you and your family to be comfortable with that decision and excited for that decision. So please do reach out to them with any questions. If you're curious about really just anything about their university, please do use them as resources. They are so excited to meet you and to work with you. And if you need additional help or resources after, please get in touch with me and I'm happy to connect you as well. So I think that we're gonna wrap it up for today. Any last comments that anybody would want to add?
I think I just want to add in, Neve had mentioned it earlier, and I know I can kind of speak for all the panel. And just to reiterate what you said, Daphne, we are literally here at the end of an email, at the other side of a Zoom call. Any questions at all, we are with you every step of the way. So just to keep that in mind, I know that it's important from a parent perspective as well, but that is something that we across the board are really proud of.
Absolutely, it makes such a difference. And I mean, like, I emailed them stuff too. I emailed them questions about different things because international admissions is pretty vast, and there's always stuff to learn. So there are no bad questions. It's a lot to learn, so definitely use them. Thank you all so much for being with us. And I am pretty confident you're going to hear from some of our students and get some applications for next year. With that, I'll wrap it up for today. Thanks so much. Bye.
Thank you.